Welcome. This is what has been happening on the Sun today, the 3rd of May 2011. So let's first take a look at the sunspots. In the southern hemisphere we have region 1200 over in the southwest quadrant, but that's about it for regions in the south. Region 1203 is now being trailed by two newly numbered regions, 1204 and 1205. The region just to the west of Sun Center has still not yet been numbered, and if you look very carefully, just coming over the northeast limb there is a region with a few small spots that's worth keeping an eye on. In the last 24 hours we've only had one C flare, and that occurred just as I started putting this story together. However, there was a coronal mass ejection at about 1400, which is marked on this plot with a vertical red dash. And if you use your imagination you can see that the X-ray background came up slightly during that time. Turning now to stereo A to see what has happened to the regions that recently rotated off the disk, I don't see a lot of activity there. The region that shows the most activity is the region that is on the west limb from stereo A's point of view, which means that it is a region on the far side of the Sun, directly opposite to where the Earth is. Next we turn to the Solar Dynamics Observatory to see what is going on the hemisphere of the Sun that is pointing towards the Earth. In the white light and magnetic movies, I'd like you to pay attention to region 1200 in the southwest, which is developing steadily. In particular in the magnetic movie you can see the development of the unnumbered region just to the west of Sun Center in the northern hemisphere. In the Helium 304 movie, keep an eye on the southeast quadrant. A filament lifts off there, which is the origin of this coronal mass ejection that I told you about earlier. You can also see some evidence of the filament eruption in the X-ray movie. From the stereo B data we can see that magnificent filament channel stretching from the west limb, which would be about Sun Center from the viewpoint of the Earth, all the way around to the east limb, so it's stretching halfway across the Sun, and I think it was the leading portion of that that lifted off, creating the coronal mass ejection. So let's take a look at that coronal mass ejection using the Soho-Lasco instrument. First, the C2 shows the eruption off the east limb, and you can see it faintly even in the C3. From our composite coronal image we can see that the last of the major regions in the northern hemisphere is about to rotate onto the disk. After that there's nothing due back for several days. The auroral zone is looking moderately active, and the KP index has been varying between 2 and 4. So in summary then, the sunspot number is around about 50, the X-ray background remains at about B3, the intensity of the radio sun has dropped to about 106 solar flux units, solar wind speed has dropped to about 600 km per second, and the KP index has been varying in the quiet to unsettled range. My forecast for the next 24 hours is very similar to that of yesterday, except for the fact that I've dropped the chance of having an M flare to very low. But I think we have a good chance of getting some more C flares and the odd coronal mass ejection. If you want more detail, check out these websites listed here. They are in the description box below. And one thing you might want to try is to look back one solar rotation and see what the Sun was doing at that time, compared with what it's doing now. So you go to the links I've got in the description box and choose the last of the Sun Today videos to compare with today's video. So that's it for today. Keep safe. Bye for now.